You're listening to the 100th episode of Sober Guy Radio.
100 episodes.
What's up, bro? It's Christian here, man. I just want to give you a shout out and tell you congrats on the 100th episode. That is a huge milestone in your podcast career, and I think it's awesome what you're doing, bro. You're an inspiration to many, including myself. So keep up the strong work, man. It just keeps getting better and better with time, and looking forward to what you got coming in the future.
Jane, buddy, Steve, congratulations on your 100th episode. I appreciate your service. Do a lot of good, and I always get something out of your podcast. You're helping a lot more folks than you realize. So keep up the good work, my friend.
Brian McAllister from the Full Recovery Wellness Center in Fairfield, New Jersey. I wanted to say congratulations. You are a real example of what recovery is all about, my friend. It's not just about getting sober. It's about having a life, about going out there and shaking it up. It's about changing the world for the better. It's about becoming everything you dreamed of becoming before you started using alcohol and drugs. I wanted to say, congratulations. You know what's after 100? 101. You're just scratching the surface, Shane. You're an example of what sobriety and recovery are all about. I wish you nothing but success. I'm proud to call you my friend, and I wish you another 100 episodes of changing the world.
Shane, man, it's Cormac here, Little Old Ireland. What can I say? 100 episodes, man. Excellent, brilliant, beautiful to watch. I've been listening, I think, since nearly the beginning, man. And I've said it before. I said it in an online meeting with you and on the Facebook group and everything. You kept me sober there one time when I was on a bus, and I knew I was going to know off license to get drink, and I put in your podcast and it stopped me going in. And that's amazing. That's amazing. And it's beautiful just to watch. You know, we all thought we were alone in the beginning, and look what's going on worldwide. It's amazing with yourself, O's podcast, everything. We're no longer alone. It's amazing, you know. And with the support of the meetings I go to and this podcast, and you know, life is just absolutely amazing, man. And you know you can't do this alone. None of us can do it alone. So respect to Jess as well. And love, brother. And thanks, man. And take care. And thanks to all.
Shane Raymer, my brother. It's Jason from thebookofopen.com. And I wanted to say congratulations to you, my man, on your 100th episode. And I hope you have 1,000 more, because the world needs to hear what you have to say, and the world needs to hear what your guests have to say. And you are creating a forum for people to get their voice and their message out, and you're helping people in the recovery community, and you're helping the world at large. And it is just an honor to call you a friend. I'm so grateful that you came into my life. I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be on your very important podcast, and I wish you nothing but the best, my friend. So keep it on, and peace out, my friend.
Hey Shane, it's your sister from another Mr. Kelly. I just wanted to say how proud I am of you, and that I've always been a fan of this journey that you've kind of come upon in the last few years of your life. And I think it's amazing how far you've come, and I get excited just to think how far you're going to go. I see nothing but positive for you in all of this, and I'm super happy that you are taking life by the horns and commanding it, and like living a good life and making your family proud and happy. And there's nothing more a sister could ask for than her sister to have a good mate in life. So I love you, and congratulations on being awesome. And I wish many more healthy, happy years for you. And I can't wait to see where your journey takes you guys. Love you.
This is Melanie Manter. Congratulations on your 100th episode, Shane. We're so proud of you.
Shane, what's up, man? It's Larry Hagman with the Good Dad Project. Man, I just wanted to congratulate you, number one, on 100 episodes. Dude, like, how cool is that? Honestly, man, so cool. Hey, also, I just wanted to take a minute and let you know what a huge inspiration you've been on my life. Ever since I was on your show, I think that was literally a turning point for me. And what I mean by that is, when I first started talking to you, and especially when I did that show, my goal was to be sober for 90 days, from January 1st, basically to April 1st. And after I did that show with you and I listened to it actually over and over, I probably listened to that episode 5 times, where you and I created the term, the middle ground guy. And I don't know what it was. I think it was just the fact, me getting to know you, you inspiring me, and then you coming and doing the Dad Edge Mastermind, getting to know you even more. And that is literally what kept my sobriety in line. I wanted to just continue being sober because, to be honest with you, man, you make it look so cool. And you have such a cool brand around being sober. And anytime I feel tempted to drink, I always think of your podcast art with your hat on and the knuckles coming at me with Pray on it. Man, it just keeps me whole. So, dude, thank you for being such a great friend. Dude, I love you at the bottom of my heart, and keep doing what you are doing.
Hi, Shane. This is your mom. I just want to congratulate you on 100 episodes of Sober Guy Radio. I've always known that you have such a compassionate, caring heart, and you would do something special in life. You are changing people's lives all across the world, and I am so proud of everything you do. I love you, son, with all my heart.
Hey, Shane Raymer. David Ratchford congratulating you on your 100th Sober Guy podcast. Keep it up, brother. You are doing amazing work, not just on your 100 episodes, but for thousands of people that listen to the show and the Sober Guy, Sober Girl Facebook community. Keep it up, bro.
My good friend Shane Raymer of That Sober Guy Radio. It's Share Podcast here. Just want to send you a lot of love and congratulations on your 100th episode, man. Really proud of you. HP, baby. It's been an honor and a privilege to watch you grow and evolve, especially the show. It's blown up. I'm really proud of you, man. I love what you're doing. And it's been great to get to know you and your family on Facebook. It's just, this is what we do, man. We connect because of recovery, because we're clean and sober today. And because of that, we have an opportunity to establish some really cool friendships. So I consider you my friend and my brother. And I hope you have another solid 100 episodes ahead of you, man. All right. Again, much love and HP, baby.
Hey, what's up, Bob? It's Seth. It's 4:30 in the morning on a Friday. Favorite time of the week. Get to listen to the newest and latest episode of That Sober Guy. And it just so happens that I get to listen to episode 99. So it's been great watching the show grow, bro. Super proud of you. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Love you, bub.
Hey, this is for Shane Raymer and That Sober Guy podcast. This is Paul Churchill with the Recovery Elevator podcast. Shane, congratulations on 100 episodes. That is big time. I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure if Recovery Elevator podcast would be reaching 82 episodes if it weren't for you. When I first started Recovery Elevator podcast, I went to iTunes and cruised around, and you are one of the pioneers, my friend. And your strength, your courage of putting yourself out there and helping other people was one of the driving factors that put me over the hill, over the hump, to put my story out there as well. So, Shane Raymer, I've met you personally several times, and I hope to continue that trend. You are truly a genuine, good guy out there doing big things for team recovery. Shane Raymer, keep it up. Love you.
Shane Raymer, what's up, man? Greetings from Kazakhstan. This is Ray Penny. Hey, congrats on episode number 100, man. I remember episode number 1, just getting started off. I think starting a new job at PG&E at the time, and a bunch of challenges, and your passion and drive kept it going, and it's amazing to see 100 episodes. It's great, and happy for you, and pat yourself on the back, man. It's an exciting accomplishment. All the best, man. Love you.
Hi, Shane. This is Trip Lanier. Congratulations. 100 episodes, 3 years. Really amazing. I appreciate you having me on way back when you were starting things out. I can only imagine how many guys that you've impacted, men and women, along the way. So very inspired by your progress. I know it's not easy. Just thanks for the inspiration. Thanks for including me in your process too, and wishing you and all of your followers, all your listeners, the best. And hats off to your gal, Jessica, for putting all this together, man. Take care.
Hi, Daddy. I'm happy for you because I'm excited for you for your 100th show, and I am very happy because I just am very happy for you. I don't know what to say right now, but and I'm really happy for you. I'm excited for you, and I love you. Bye.
Hey, babe, it's me. I think you're awesome. I think what you're doing is awesome. You inspire me every day. I just, and it's just so cool to see what God is doing in your life, and to see and just to follow you and see what else more He has planned for you. And, the kids and I are so proud of you, and 100 episodes is totally cool. And here's to 100 more. Love you.
Yo, what's up? I'll keep this short and sweet so we can get to the 100th episode with Seth and Mel and Jess and myself. But I just had to pop in here real quick and just thank everybody for the love and the support and the messages. I mean, they're so awesome. So many good friends and family on there showing their support and their love. So I greatly appreciate that. And then also to Jess for putting this together. She kind of went behind my back and compiled these messages and put the word out there. And she actually had an intro made, which was pretty funny, actually. And you hear a little bit of it at the beginning, and then that's Cash right behind coming in that was kind of edited in there too. But let's listen to it actually real quick, because it's pretty damn comedy.
Shane Raymer, you have put in the time, heart, and effort to help others realize their full potential. Now it's time for you to listen to us talk about how cool you are. Thanks for keeping your blood clean.
That shit is so funny. Every time I hear it, my favorite part is when he says, how cool you are. And the fact that he says that totally makes me not cool in just saying that. So I appreciate it though. Pretty damn funny and pretty awesome of Jess to do at the same time. And speaking of that, I have the raddest chick on the planet. Jess, I love you so much, and thank you so much for putting this together and always supporting me, being there, putting up with my shit, and working through this with me. You've really taught me that how to hang in there and how to not give up, and always how to press through. And so I always know that I can count on you for that, and to be there and to stand by me until death, babe. I love you. We're going to get to the 100th episode in just a second, but first, we got to give some love to our sponsor.
At Foundations Recovery Network, our mission is to create lifetime relationships for long-term recovery. In our history of doing good is the promise of your future getting better. So if you or someone you love needs help, please know we are here to help. And the sign on our door says, "We care." We create an individualized treatment plan for the whole person, for the whole you, because to us, you matter. The first step to recovery is heroic. We know that. And with our Heroes in Recovery movement, we honor those who have taken that step toward recovery and stand up for you and stand beside you and stand together to break the stigma placed on addiction. Call our confidential and private line at 877-714-1318. We are here to help you, and help has a phone number, 877-714-1318. Make the call. We're listening. We're Foundations Recovery Network.
Welcome to the 100th episode of Sober Guy Radio. I couldn't think of a better way to have the 100th episode than with my beautiful wife and great friends Seth and Mel. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming over tonight and sitting in and joining for the 100th episode. I'm in my own little corner over here. What's up?
Yeah, you are, man. Thanks for having us, dude. And how about that opening, huh? Wow.
How about that intro?
Shane Raymer.
No, that's a pretty damn awesome that Jess put together all the messages. I had to take a list down and actually listen to all of them, and it actually made me cry. When it got to Lucy a little bit, I had to shed a tear, I gotta say, but everyone's message was was really, really heartfelt and really awesome. And I'm just really appreciative of everyone's support. And that's about it. I feel kind of weird right now, I gotta say.
Well, that's because you don't know how to
take a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of rough at that.
And love yourself and be all like, I'm doing good.
Well, I'm working on loving myself. I think I've came a long way. I think I've came a long way. That's
was a Carmen voice.
Yeah, kind of was.
Yeah, it was just, it was fun to do. It was cool getting all the audio clips back and hearing everything that everyone had to say on the side. I think it was David that said that he hopes you cry like a baby, and a couple other guys that said he's a great guy, and just everybody had great things to say about you, and it was just a lot of fun. It was fun to listen to, and it was cool to hear what a difference that you're making and that you've made, and that people in the network and the community respect what you're doing. So it's cool.
Yeah
for sure. I think that for me especially, the show has had a great impact on my life, man. I know that on every Fridays are special to me because I get to hear the latest and greatest episode. So if I feel that way, I'm sure that there's many other people out there that appreciate the show. And fuck, man, 100 episodes, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
100.
It's crazy.
How long has it been, Shane?
It was
how long have you been doing it?
So we started in April of 2014. So almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Somewhere like that. I know, man. I never would have thought I would have got to 100 episodes. I can remember episode 1.
I thought that was cool when Ray Penny said that too. He's like, I remember episode 1.
I know, that was
that's
cool.
so cool because a lot of people have been here since episode 1,
yeah.
And supporting and everything else.
Well, that's why it's cool to have you guys here too. You guys have been there, since the start of this too, with support and being there. And so it's kind of full circle on the 100th episode to bring it together like that. And since you mentioned Ray Penny, a good homie, him and I ditched the bus in the first grade and walked 4 miles home. Our parents thought we got kidnapped. Pretty awesome story there. He's out in Kazakhstan right now. So Ray Penny, what's up if you hear this all the way out in Kazakhstan? I hope you slap Borat on his fucking ass. So
I would die. Lucy is in first grade right now. I would die if she skipped school. What?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
First grade.
Yeah, these two.
Yeah, crazy. Yes,
that is crazy. So can we just bring it back from the start, right? And I want to hear how this whole podcast idea came to fruition, and how did you even what sparked your interest, man? Let's go back from the very start.
Well, I think that's a good question, Seth. And it's funny that Jess reached out to Trip Lanier, and I appreciate him taking the time to leave a message that was super cool of him to do. And I appreciate the kind words. I actually, Trip's podcast, The New Man, was really the first podcast that I really got into. And I can remember I was working in the mailroom and I was really trying to stay sober. And, I was just out of rehab, and it was a pretty tough time, pretty confusing. Many of you have heard the cowboy story before. I think I ran into Seth one day too, and he was like, "Bro, are you wearing fucking Wranglers?" Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I think we're in the parking lot. I ran into the grocery store.
I missed that short period of time.
Oh, man.
And I'm so glad that we get to look back and laugh about it.
that we're not still in it.
Yeah,
the hunting vest is still in the closet.
Yeah.
Well, you still had the Channing Tatum beanie going on. You know what I mean? Like he was hanging out half off your head.
That was okay though. I like that face.
So anyways.
Well, so I'm in the mailroom and I'm trying to like pass time, and my good buddy Justin Moak had introduced me to the New Man, and he said, "Man, you got to check out this podcast. I think you'll like it." And I remember the first episode I listened to was with the big wave surfer Greg Long, and he had basically went out down in Cortez Bank, I think, down in Southern California area, and he got pretty much crushed by a big wave and basically died, and they brought him back to life. And it was a story of just kind of, slipping in through a rough time of depression and a lot of the stuff that, even though it was on a different kind of set than like alcohol and stuff and just life, I really related to it. And I really thought it was cool that Trip was, he was such a good interviewer and able to hold a great conversation, and it really captured my emotions and attention. And I just thought it was really cool. So I kept listening to New Man, and I don't know, man, I think like, Jess, maybe you remember a little better than me, but I think I kind of woke up one night and I was just like, I'm going to start a podcast and I'm going to talk about my recovery and just see what happens.
Yeah, I do remember that. Actually, I wanted to ask you, so like when Justin Moak called you and said, you got to listen to this podcast, I don't recall you ever like listening to podcasts before that. You know what I mean? So like, did you even know what a podcast was?
No, the only thing I could remember that I had heard the word podcast was from Izzy, because I know Izzy put out a house music podcast back in the day.
Right.
So that was really the only time that I had heard the term podcast.
Yeah, I still didn't realize what it was. Didn't know that there was like, talking podcasts and stuff.
Well, you and I had talked back in the day, getting stoned and whatnot about how awesome it would be to be, like a radio host at some point. And I can remember being like, and it's kind of crazy. It's much better that we're sober now doing it. But I remember being stoned out of my mind. Yeah, it could have been. That's very true. Probably would have sat here eating a piece of cake right now.
Yeah, no shit.
But it was.
But yes, I do remember that. I remember you sitting up and being like, I want to start a podcast. And I was like, cool. Yeah. On like what? And you're like, on sobriety. And I was like, I really didn't, because sometimes you say things and you have ideas and I'm like, cool, babe, sounds good. That sounds great. But this one I was like, I don't know. I believed it. I heard it in your voice. Like there's a lot of times that you make that declaration and then it comes to life. And this was one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I know that for me, I mean, if I could just share my experience with you telling me about your podcast, I can't remember, like we had a coffee date or some shit, right? And we were meeting up to go have some coffee, and we're standing in line and in our awkward silence or whatever, right? Yeah. And you're like, dude, I got this idea that I want to talk to you about. Or I don't even think you said you had an idea. You're like, dude, I got to talk to you about something. I was like,
yeah, I brought my laptop, I think. And
yeah,
I was
you had your laptop.
Fucking nervous and shit.
And I was like, dude, this motherfucker has already drank. Like, I thought that you were going to confess to me that
that's funny.
You had just wasted, 30 days and I don't know, fucking $40,000 at rehab.
Well, no, that would have been about 6 months at that point, because I didn't start the podcast till about 6 months out of rehab. So I mean, that would have been really wasted time.
Yeah. So I didn't know what was going to happen, but when you first started talking, I was like, I got kind of like this chill. Goosebumps, kind of like, I don't know, a teenage girl seeing Nick Lachey for the very first time or some shit like that. But
I'm impressed you know who
I thought, what are you talking about? 90s? I went and saw Nick Lachey in Rent.
Bringing it back in the 90s.
Was that
fucking Rent? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
When you lived in New York?
Anyway,
oh my gosh.
Senseless. Or I don't know what the fuck
Shameless
I'm trying to say. Yeah, shameless plug right there.
I love it.
Yeah, so anyway, I remember you brought up this whole idea that you were going to start this podcast, man, and I thought it was the coolest thing that I've ever heard, man. I was super juiced, and episode 1 hit the airwaves.
Okay, what was episode 1? Like I can't bring it back to episode 1 on on iTunes. I was trying to look.
It went out on Stitcher, right? I don't even think you could get it on. Go back and listen to it on iTunes anymore.
I don't know what the deal is with that. It should be on there. It's on the website.
Okay,
if
but
not,
what was episode 1?
So episode 1 was just Shane kind of
introducing
himself.
Can I just back up really quick because I remember.
Can I
finish?
No.
Can I finish? Can
No.
I finish? Okay, I'm finished. I remember what Seth's talking about and going into that, and I remember thinking to myself, we have all those doubts, right? Like when we have dreams or ideas, or especially just coming off of trying to stay sober and all this shit. Here I am, this newbie, trying to not drink pretty much, and have this crazy ass idea. And I remember going to Seth, and it was such a pivotal moment at that time for me, and not just about the podcast and let's kind of even set that part aside, but just like in myself, like my confidence, trying to be like the person that I had always wanted to kind of be, just upfront and honest and not fucking stoned or whatever. And I remember being nervous as fuck to tell you because I thought, man, he might think this is a dumb idea.
Yeah,
or
I remember that.
Maybe it's stupid and I'm just like on some cloud or whatever. And the fact that you were like supportive of it, dude, that like set me into like full drive, like to be like, okay, cool. If Seth's got my back on this, I already knew Jess had my back on it. I'm fucking rolling with it, and I'm full steam ahead. You know what I mean? I haven't really looked back, I guess, since that day. So thank you, my friend. I love you.
Yeah, well, and I must share too, man. Like the childish look that you had in your eyes when I said, dude, that would be so fucking dope. Like you kind of lit up, like you're like, fuck yeah, dude. So this is really gonna be something. And I'm so glad, and here we are talking 100th episode and shit. So I'm so glad that, I was probably the third person that because you probably discussed it with Brody a little bit too, right?
Yeah, little practice round.
Yeah. Hey, Brody, come here.
What do you think, bud? You always at my back, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I could shit on my hand and he'd be just happy about it.
Well, and can I just really quick drop the whatever and just say, could you imagine if like he came to you and you were not supportive? Do you know what I mean? It's just to say out there that if somebody comes to you with their dream and you see that child look in their eye and whatever, then just support it, right? Like, just be
I don't know. I think that me just being the person that I am, and I might get a lot of hate for this. If I thought it was a stupid fucking idea, I probably would have been like, I don't know. I mean,
tell me more about it. I don't know. I'm gonna need more details.
Well, I think it's cool, but it fucking sucks.
Yeah, no, I probably would have supported you either way, but I don't know.
Who knew?
Yeah,
who knew? Who knew? Let me run down the list real quick, man. I just want to say thanks to Christian, Brian McAllister, Paul Churchill, Buddy, Larry, Mel. Thank you, Mel. You're here, so I can tell you thank you. Omar, Big O from the Share Podcast. Much love. Jason McKenzie. Mom, love you, Mom. Lucy, loving Lucy. Trip Lanier, already mentioned Trip. That was pretty awesome. Seth, you're here. Seth, I love you. David Ratchford. Cormac, all the way from Ireland. Sister-in-law Kelly. Very sweet of you, Kelly.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Yeah, that was really cool. And Ray Penny from Kazakhstan. Once again, awesome. And of course, my lovely wife, Jess. Thank you for putting this together and always supporting me and having my back. I love you very much.
You're welcome. I love you.
All right.
And I just really quick too want to say that Omar, you're awesome. I reached out to him first off and was like, help, I have this idea. And I totally had this idea like way late in the game. And I emailed him and was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but this is what I want to do. And give me an idea, just point me in the right direction of like an audio that I can send out to everybody and they can send back. And he was like super helpful. And so that was awesome. And then Darcy helped me with like figuring out how to do all the like file, sending and files and whatever, and also super supportive. Like, that's a great. I was like, I don't know if I can pull it off. She's like, of course you're gonna pull it off. You're gonna be.
super great. Like,
well, everyone's
encouragement.
message was just so heartfelt and cool too. I mean, I really couldn't believe it when I started listening to him, and Paul's too. Paul Churchill from Recovery Elevator.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Seth, I know you've listened to quite a bit of the Recovery Elevator, and we still have yet to meet Paul in person, but I know we'll probably end up doing that sooner or later. He does some meetups and whatnot, but he's such an awesome guy too. And him and I met early on out in Marin one day and had lunch with his family and stuff, and both of us were kind of early in the game at that time, and it's just been, man, just some great connections.
And then we did the meetup with him too. That was
in
awesome.
San Francisco.
That was so fun.
That was really cool.
That was
really cool. I mean, this all stems like, and all of us have kind of made connections through. I mean, I know Mel has spoke with women through emails. I know Seth has spoken with other people, and we've all kind of traded stories and shared. And all of this just has come from us putting ourselves out there and and being willing, to be honest with ourselves, obviously, and then being out there to connect with other people and help other people. And that's really what the life is about. So. Pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe like when everybody was sending their stuff back and whatever. I said to someone like the network of people, it was just it was awesome. Like just such a good network of men, really, it mostly is men that are in that little network or whatever, and it's healthy and real and raw and like it's not. Well, obviously, like, it's not, alcohol and I love you, man. It's like, bro, you got this. You're doing good.
Yeah.
You know what's so crazy about the whole thing that, like you say, I mean, complete strangers, you know what I mean? And we all have that one thing in common, you know what I mean, that draws us so close together. Like, my relationship with Omar, I've only talked to Omar one time, but that's one of my brothers in recovery, right? Paul Churchill, man, I feel like he's one of my brothers. I've never talked to Paul, but I get to listen to him every week. Yeah. It's such a great community that we get to be a part of, man, just because of that one common thing, the addiction or the trying to overcome that addiction, right? Yeah. So, and I think too, man, the other thing that we have in common is trying to break the stigma, man.
For sure, man. For sure. That's really what this platform is about, is trying to bring awareness and break that stigma and make it open. And I've always kind of looked up to you, Seth, for that too, because you've like, I always think about that. Like, you're never shy to say, I'm an alcoholic. Like, it's what I am. It's what that's my past. My past doesn't define me. And that puts that out there. And yeah, it makes people feel weird and awkward at first, but some people, not all people, but some people, but I think it's even worse if we don't speak up and say that. And of course, keeping the anonymity thing, respecting that. I'm always, try to be conscious of that and about the programs and stuff. That's, that's kind of another side to it. But just to touch on what you were getting at too, and I won't say, he's asked me to kind of just keep it between him and I, but I'm working with a sponsor now on the other side of the map, through Skype. And I've worked with a couple sponsors and they weren't bad dudes. It just didn't work out. And it was probably by my own doing, but this is like a fit, and I know it's the right thing, and it feels good. And, there's just so many cool things that have came out of this. And, even like the email we got tonight, God does some crazy things, and we were trying to get Cash to bed earlier, and I happened to check my phone and I get this email. Do you guys want to do the email real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So let me,
no,
I know. What if you just said no? I was like, okay, well, sorry. Yeah. So this email comes through. It's just crazy that it came through right now. It comes from Allison. Says husband. The subject is husband's addiction. So it says, I found your podcast a few weeks ago, and it's helped me gain compassion for my alcoholic husband. He was sober for a year after 2 previous shorter periods of sobriety, and then relapsed after 13 months. It's been messy since then, even though he was attending sporadic meetings and checking in occasionally with his sponsor. 2 weeks ago, he had what he said was a great day and was supposed to get home and come home to our kids who were with the sitter, get him ready for sports practice. On the way home, he decided to drink. He hit another car just 2 miles from our house and totaled it. He said he was done. He doesn't want to live like that anymore, but I've heard it all before. He's going to meetings, but he went when he was relapsing too. He's sober almost 2 weeks now, but getting sober isn't really the challenge. It's staying sober. He thinks sobriety will magically solve his problems. When it doesn't, he goes back to drinking. I don't want to live within active alcoholism, but can't seem to stick to my boundaries. I want him to get sober for himself, and I'm afraid if I tell him this is my final straw, he'll try to do it again for me and our kids. When he's sober, he's the man I love, and that's why I haven't left. I attend Al-Anon, but none of our friends know what's going on, so I feel so lost. He's a functional alcoholic, always drinks alone. I guess my reason for emailing is that I've listened to your story and it gives me hope. Do you have any suggestions? I've told him about the podcast, but he doesn't listen. I now worry everyone he leaves the house, it's not going to work because I'm afraid he will drink. Does Jess have any advice for going through this? I don't know anyone who stayed married through this journey, so I feel pretty alone. Thanks in advance, and sorry for the crazy-ass long email. Keep doing what you're doing, Allison. I mean, that's as deep as it gets right there. I mean, really, that's a tough spot. I mean, you guys feel free, take it away.
That is a rough one, and it sounds like Allison has been through it with her husband, and that's really hard. And you are kind of in a difficult spot. But like one thing in that whole deal that kind of like made me think of anything was when you said that like your friends don't know and he just kind of drinks alone and that whole kind of secret thing. I feel like in any situation with anything that it's so important to just let it out, and even for the goodness of you. And I guess like I'm just talking to you right now, Allison, not to like your husband and his situation, because that's his situation, even though you are in a family and it's hard to like separate each other. But like as far as you go, like it's very important that you let out what you need to let out and like talk about it. Find a friend. Al-Anon may not be doing it for you, and that's understandable. I get that. So like find a friend that or a family member or something, and keep talking about it until you can find somebody that can not it's not about helping you. It's just about literally breaking free from that bondage and bringing it out into the light, because that's right where the hurt happens, is in that darkness and stuffing it down. And as soon as you can kind of let it out and be free with it, it takes a lot of weight off in itself. So that's like the only advice that I have for you on that. Maybe thinking more about you and yourself and the kids than like what you can do for him.
No, I agree, Jess. It's important to have someone that you can talk to about it, whether it be a friend, a family member, sometimes a complete stranger.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we're here.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes. Yes.
Because getting that out and taking that guilt off of yourself, and not necessarily needing someone to tell you what to do, but just to listen.
Yeah.
It's really, really important.
Well, I like what she said too about like not, she doesn't want him to do it for her or the kids. And there's not really much that you can really do about that, And it sounds like she kind of it sounds like you know that already, but at the same time, knowing it and, being able to kind of let it play out, I guess, is two different things.
Yeah, it's okay to be, selfish, because for so long dealing with his stuff and your kids and your family and stuff, you've been, selfless. And so you're like, now what do I do with him and my kids? And it's like, well, how about get back to the core of who you are and what you need and be selfish, for a little bit. That's fine. It's okay, because you're trying to work stuff out.
So Allison, the biggest thing to know is that there's millions and millions of people out there like your husband out there. You know what I mean? So in turn, there's millions of wives just like you out there. The good thing to know is that people do recover from this shit. You know what I mean? And people do deal with this shit on a daily basis, myself being one of them. I was that functioning, or maybe I wasn't the functioning alcoholic, but I pretty much drank on a daily basis. Just like everybody else, had many attempts at sobriety. The list goes on and on. But what I will tell you is that you definitely have to set that boundary, and your husband has got to want to get sober for himself, right? Because he cannot get sober and will not stay sober for anyone else but himself. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think the biggest thing for me to tell you is that, Allison, there is hope out there. Get out and talk to some people about that, because there is probably more help and more resources out there for you than you would ever know.
Yes.
And I'm the type of guy, man. I'm very open about my addiction, and it's so funny that today at work I had I don't know, I guess he was a contractor come out and do some work, and for some reason I brought up the fact that I'm an alcoholic, right? And lo and behold, his son was struggling and was an alcoholic or an addict too. And so before you know it, like, I had this perfect stranger. We had talked for 45 minutes and we hadn't done any of the work that we were supposed to do because we were connecting on this level.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that, there's so much out there, Allison. And I ask, for you, obviously, set those boundaries. You got to be there for yourself. You most definitely have to be there for your kids. And, I'm not saying you don't have to be there for your husband, but I'd hate to break it to you. He's got to want to do it himself. And I'm sure that, if you set your boundaries, he's gonna, I think he'll come around.
Yeah. And he's gonna get away with as much shit as you are willing to put up with.
Absolutely.
So that boundaries thing is, it's important. And I like the fact that Jess also said too, be selfish. I mean, we're selfish ass bastards when we're stuck in that, that mode. And so, maybe it's time to be a bit selfish for the kids and yourself. And, I think Seth kind of hit on that too. It sounds like he's, from what you said, I just get this feeling that he's not a bad dude. Sounds like a good dude, but is just like a lot of us. When we get fucked up, we're just fucking stupid. We don't think. We don't use our brains. We're in that state.
Yeah, the biggest thing to remember, like I said before, the biggest thing to remember is that this story happens every single day. You know what I mean? There's millions and millions of people out there that have the exact same story. You are not alone.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing to remember.
Yeah, don't feel like the leper with the alcoholic husband that you can't talk about it because whatever. Who cares? Because they're not living your life. Just talk about it. Get it out there.
You ain't living my life, ho. Shit. I tried to get that gangster in there. It's like from a Boys in the Hood movie or something.
Mel, did you want to say something?
Well, even I was just thinking, even when Seth and I started on that journey, like she said that nobody knows. Jess, you had told her, reach out, find someone, be supportive. Like, you guys knew because you grew up with Seth, what he was like. And I was fair warned, right? When we started dating. I didn't understand it, but anyways, you would be surprised that even at the time, Seth was the first of some of his friends to give up this habit. And even his friends that were still actively drinking and going out and partying and doing things, even they were very supportive of me. Even some of the biggest fucking assholes that Seth knows called me while he was in rehab.
That's good.
And checked on me and offered to help me out and do things, like somebody that I would never expect that from. So you will be astounded at the support that you will get from people that you would never even think.
That's excellent advice. Like, they see it too. The friends see it too, and they're like, when is she gonna get the and then finally, that's
well,
good.
It's crazy too about how many times, like Seth was saying, I talk to a lot of different people, even in out in the workplace or out in public, whatever, and I swear it seems every single time that it happens to come up, they either themselves or they have a son or a daughter or an uncle or a spouse.
It's like
There's
cancer,
always
man.
some. It
Everybody
is.
knows everyone.
It really is.
Well, Mel, we're in the same boat. We're hairstylists. How many times I've said it a million times, and they're like, "Oh, well, actually, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "No."
You can grow great relationships from starting a conversation like that.
Yes, you can. For sure.
Absolutely.
That's good. Now, speaking of rehab and alcoholics and weird, because that's what this podcast is about, Let's talk about your trip back to rehab.
Good
transition. Back to the rehab.
back to the rehab.
That's funny.
I'm gonna have to sample that right there.
Yep.
To the rehab.
That is awesome.
The rehab.
Yeah, that was quite
Trip to the desert.
That was quite the. Oh shit!
Mel and I
So
have
I
lots
guess
of
there was probably a lot of emotions building up to that, right?
Yeah, there was definitely some thoughts, and it had been my first time going back, and what happened was they do an annual barbecue yearly at Azure Acres up in Sebastopol, California, out in the cuts where it smells like pot while you drive through. Because,
God, yeah.
dude, how many times did we smoke pot or smoke? Did we smell pot on the way there?
Like really?
Oh yeah,
Really?
it smelled like
Wow.
straight dank.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's out in the cuts. And,
I don't remember smelling that. I remember smelling redwoods and.
Well, it's got that smell too, but there was a couple times driving through certain spots. I mean, that's a big area.
You're in
out
Santa
there,
Rosa,
but,
man. It's bound to happen.
But yeah, man, there was definitely some feelings going back for the first time, and it was. I thought it was pretty ironic that it just so happened to kind of fall right around this time. What were your thoughts going in, Seth? I mean, you had been back before too, but
I had been back, but obviously I had some I was kind of reserved, I guess, even though there was kind of some reservations there. I was excited to go back and check it out, but
even though we had the stage 5 clinger fucking rolling up on the driveway, I mean, I don't mean
and bless her heart, you know what I mean. But she kind of stole a. She kind of stole the
podcast right now.
Well, I'm sorry. She was.
Girl,
she was
have you heard
really
of
nice.
any explicit details?
No, I know.
Yeah,
I don't mean to be
names.
like that, but she was super cool and stuff. But yeah, she did kind of like the whole walk up and stuff. It just, but like you said, Seth, maybe that was supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
And that's how I need to look at it.
Maybe it was an icebreaker and you guys just didn't even realize.
Yeah.
And that's obviously everything happens for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she probably had some reservations about going to this thing too.
Oh yeah.
And
I had reservations about you guys going.
Was this though? Have you ever met somebody and then did you?
Heck yeah!
Really?
Right.
Tell me
Like,
what? Yeah. Speak on it.
Well, so I haven't been back, right? And I didn't go.
Were you
when
jealous
Shane
a little
was
bit?
There, I was a little jealous.
I was,
but I didn't go when Shane was there because I couldn't. Like I couldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I remember
didn't know
that.
Like
I
I
remember.
just and I love you, Shane, and it wasn't because I didn't want to support you. I couldn't do it.
Bring back memories.
And then and I'm so happy that you guys did, and I'm so glad that you finally made it happen because you've been talking about it forever. But I didn't know what it was going to look like when you came home. To be honest with you, because you haven't been there since he was there.
Right.
So that was when that's the only time you've been back since you lived there, since you left me.
So what did it look like, Mel? I'm curious.
No, it was good. It was good. I mean, he sent me the picture of you two.
Yeah.
Well, him mugging and you cheesing.
Oh, I didn't get any pictures.
And because I asked him, how's the weather going?
Yeah.
And it's a little inside joke.
Okay.
I know.
Is it okay if I ask?
How's the weather going?
No.
It's from an interview tactic. It's just anywho. So I got the picture and so that gave me a little bit of relief. Like, all right, he's gonna come home and have some stories. Obviously he was feeling good enough to take a selfie.
Yeah.
But
did you get any feedback? Because I didn't.
About
their trip.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
I gave you a little bit.
He was like, it was like,
I mean, he's not super talkative.
And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, I'm just wondering because
We
you
don't
just went
talk
back to
like-
rehab, and I'm just wondering.
Well,
how
Seth and
it
I
went.
always, if anybody out there has ever been there, right? Because this is a pretty popular place. You know how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first things that I asked Seth, like, I could tell in the picture, it looked like it's being very well taken care of.
It is.
And so that started the conversation about meeting. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, they've done improvements, meeting the CEO, telling me about that interesting little, their backstory, and I knew there was going to be a speaker. I asked him about the speaker and it's, even though it's that place holds a lot of memories for me personally, like it is beautiful and comforting.
It is.
And I couldn't imagine like if anybody had to go through that being anywhere but Azure. Like, it's,
well, there's so much feeling.
Such a beautiful place.
There's so much feeling there, you know, like so just the smells and the, I don't know, memories. And it was just a little different though. I guess I just expected something different. And maybe I set my expectations to something that it just,
I want to know what that means though, you know?
I don't really know. I
think I was worried about that, Seth having too high of expectations of like a feeling that he was going to get, either it being nostalgia or like some sort of spiritual release or something. Like I don't, you know, we don't really talk too much about like in that kind of depth, but I was worried like
something, is
he feel like he's going to get there and, you know, have this like warm feeling light up inside of him, or is it going to make him like feel kind of dark in a dark place? And you know, and then if he saw anybody he went to rehab with, how would he feel about that? Or not seeing people and wondering, you know,
I think we both saw one person that we know.
Yeah, I saw one that I thought I recognized. I mean, I don't know, going back for me, it wasn't like when we took you and dropped your ass off there. But
the fuck out of here.
Was that harder for you, Seth?
That's all hard. That's all hard.
That was that time was like when we took Shane there. It was definitely tough on me. Like it brought back a lot of feelings.
But then you went back. You went back.
Yeah, but then I went back a couple other times and
sat in for the meetings and stuff.
You know, that place saved my fucking life. Like to be honest with you. So there is definitely a certain feeling. The place looked fucking beautiful. They're really taking care of it. I got to you know, we got to meet, unbeknownst to us, who is now the CEO of the place. Super cool, down to earth, just in recovery himself. So that was really cool to hear. We got to talk to our counselor, right? Got to see James. That was
you guys
pretty.
Have the same counselor?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep.
So that was cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, he still got the long hair, man. He looks the same. It was cool to see him.
Does he hair flip it?
No, no, it's just kind of
he's
like
definitely the only guy that could rock a Hawaiian shirt under a flannel shirt, and then
cool.
Yeah,
it's like cold in the morning, warm in the afternoon.
Yeah, had the white walls, going on the pony. But James that was really cool to get to see James and to know that he recognized my ass. You know what I mean? Like
that's cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
I try to tell him he's pretty unforgettable, but he doesn't believe me.
You kind of are.
Yeah.
Well, one thing he said too, that he kind of said it and kept it simple, but he looked at both of us and he's like, man, it's really good to see, you know, some guys come back and have some success, you know, like it's really cool. And he kind of walked off. I mean,
his job, right? Like,
for sure.
Gotta be pretty heartbreaking sometimes.
Yeah. So
that can get depressing, I'm sure. You know.
So how did you feel about it, Shane? Was it? I know you said that you had your expectations were probably a little high, but
yeah, I think Mel kind of hit it on. Like now that I heard her say that, I guess I just kind of thought like I was gonna have like another spiritual like relapse or whatever
like you were gonna float over to St. Francis.
Yeah,
like we're gonna read the.
Yeah, exactly. And I did. I went over to St. Francis. They redid the whole area in there. It looked beautiful, but
I like the way it used to look. But
it looks cool. Nice. I kind of like the old school look too. But
I didn't get any pictures. I didn't even know he met the counselor. Like I didn't know there was speakers. Didn't know you met the CEO.
Where is your level?
He's unattached at the moment, people.
Days?
Okay, unattached.
I was still trying to take it in. I guess.
I'll tell you what you can
How
take
was
in.
it? I'll tell you what you can take in. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was cool though. I mean, I'm super glad we went.
Okay.
I mean, I'm glad that
just sent that to me.
I'm glad that Seth and I went together too. I mean, that part was definitely cool to kind of. I liked hopping in the van.
Yeah, that was cool.
We had to park down the street, so we hopped in the old van with
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Bob was cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, enough of that. I mean, that's good to know. Now that I got some info on it, for crying out loud. Jeez. I guess these days I just have to get on a podcast with my husband to communicate and get any information about his life anymore.
Well, it's not that. It's that we get interrupted every 30 seconds from a 2 or a 6-year-old.
You
so,
do
I
have
mean,
2 kids.
you know.
2 kids.
Thank you.
2 kids.
That's kind of part of it, too.
So, back to the 100. The 100. The hundo.
Keep it 100.
So we had a couple little questiones about your life as a podcaster. How do you feel about that?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Seth, take it away.
Oh, did I erase your
Hey, thanks, Jess.
No problem.
Fucker. So,
Skeleton.
I guess from your first episode to your 99th episode, which would you say was your most favorite to do? I know that's going to be hard as fuck, but if you were to say that you had one of your most favorites, what was yours?
Oh man, yeah, that is tough.
Like
man.
favorite in the sense of interviewer or favorite in the sense of like content? What do you mean?
Or like excited about doing?
Be clear, Seth.
A, B, C, and D. Just one of them.
What stands out?
I mean, obviously the podcast is your baby, right? And you're proud of all of them, and you love all of them. But which one stands out the most to you, or which 5, or I don't know.
Yeah,
probably all 99 stand out.
Well, there's definitely a couple of them. I mean, I guess one of the first ones that stands out would be when I went out to San Francisco and talked to Jacoby out there, because Jess and I both got to go, and we did the interview live at the show. So not only did we get to go kick it in San Francisco and have a good time and like go back to kind of some of my roots, in that time of my life when I was fucking rocking out, and that's really when all this shit started too, like the kind of the partying and stuff. And to go back and like, go see some music and then sit down with Jacoby and hear a bit about his story and be able to share it on this platform. That was pretty fun to be able to do that part, and then also to have Jess with me to kind of share that experience. And
then also probably Jacoby being sober too was kind of another highlight, right? Like that was kind of cool. Like, I mean, obviously that's why you.
It was. No, it was, because and I've talked about this. There's going to be an article coming out in Recovery Magazine. It'll be in December's article. And they asked me to write about what it's like being a musician in recovery. And so it was a cool experience for me to be able to write, because I don't write enough, I don't think, anymore. But I got to kind of go back and revisit that, and it ties into this whole Papa Roach, like Link 80 punk rock scene, where I saw these guys coming up like Nick Trena and Jacoby and, all these bands and stuff that I was really into at the time, and they all partied. I mean, Nick ended up dying of a heroin overdose, and like, he was an inspiration to me in an artistic and creative sense. And so like, I took that at like a 15, 16-year-old kid and was like, man, like I want to do that. I want to be a musician. I want to have that lifestyle too. But with that comes partying and like this whole lifestyle of drinking and partying and doing drugs and all that. And like, I really took that in and thought that was the cool thing to do. So to go back and like sit with Jacoby and see him sober and basically be like, dude, I was fucking fucked up. It made a lot of sense to me and kind of made it come full circle for me. So that's definitely one that stands out.
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to episode 31, that's the one with Jacoby, and that was a really good one too. So you know what's amazing, man? Just in your 31st episode, you were interviewing the lead singer of Papa Roach.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I know,
pretty cool.
That was pretty cool, man, as Cash would say. It's pretty cool. I mean, there's a couple of them. Justin Coote, a good homie from back in the day. I mean, he was one of the first straight edge kids that I, knew, and he was. I knew him before he was straight edge. I mean, we sat and partied together, and he, did. He kind of introduced me to this whole Papa Roach and Link 80, Minor Threat. Like, he was really the one who kind of got me started in wanting to be in a band. And so to bring him on, I think that was episode 27. That was cool to rap with him about past stuff that we used to do. And then to kind of see him, he got sober really, really early at like 21. I want to say 21 years old, and he's been straight edge ever since, so he's really kind of one of the first dudes that I knew, and I was like, what the fuck is straight edge, and why the fuck would you want to not drink and party? That sounds lame. Well, he was living that shit way before I ever did. No. And it was cool to kind of go back and hear his side to it and understand it now as an adult, and look back and then really have a genuine respect for it now, instead of not really understanding it like back in the day.
So I was looking back on a few of your episodes, just reminding myself or whatever, and it was funny. hearing like, episode 7, 5, 6, whatever, just the difference in, the way that you host the show.
Yeah.
Up to now, like.
So what is it? I'm curious.
I don't know. Like
what's
the nervousness in his voice and the quality of the sound and then things like that. Is that what you mean?
The quality of the sound was always good.
Okay.
Shane was always on point with that because he's a perfectionist.
It's gotten better though. I mean, it's see, not just look at me already being a perfectionist. It's gotten better, don't you? I'm already fucking doing it right there. It used to fucking
I think
suck.
he's twitching over there. I'm not sure.
Oh man, dude, I can't get away from it.
How he does it with ease now.
Yeah, and it just rolls like some of the interviews that he did and stuff. It was like, picking up his paper and like reading. I know he wasn't doing that, but it was just very like, how do you like to be sober? I mean, it wasn't that cheesy, but you know what I mean. You could tell the difference really from episode to episode all the way up when it was like, oh my gosh, like okay, sounds professional, and then episode 10 I thought was fun. Well, okay, so that's 5 ways to get sober.
Yeah,
and I was listening to it, and that was a good one. And this was a funny quote that I got. 2 things I suck at: golf and drinking alcohol.
I remember that.
That was really funny.
Yeah, that is good. Well, and of course too. I mean, I'd be an ass if I didn't say this, and I'm not saying it just to not sound like an ass. I'm saying it because I mean it. Having both of you guys be a part of this and be on the show, I think Jess was episode 2, or I unfortunately I can't go. I'm on iTunes right now, and it's only going to 7. It was like Seth and Jess, were like 2 and 3 or somewhere right around there.
That's
or maybe
what I
it was
wanted to
Seth.
listen
I think
to.
maybe Seth was 2, and then Jess was just a couple after that. I can't quite remember, but I mean, having you guys be a part of it and like come on and have the the balls in the vagina to just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go on here and talk on this dumbass show real quick and talk about recovery. We don't really know what the hell we're doing, and we still don't, but we're gonna give it our best shot.
My language was atrocious on those ones, and I remember just being like, F.
Excuse me, you dropped about 30 F-bombs in our little dispute last night in the vehicle.
Yeah, but not on the radio.
No, true, but still.
If there was one that I were to take back, it would definitely be that episode 15 with me when we're talking about wiping our asses and taking a shit.
Can you please take that back?
I forgot about that.
How many sheets of toilet paper? Do you stand? Do you sit? Do you?
Hey, that is a valid question.
No, it's not.
So, okay, people
does that
can
have
feel
to
me
do
out
with
there.
sobriety? What does that have to do with
Are you
sobriety?
a stander or a sitter? Do you wipe when you wipe? Do you stand up or do you sit? I don't know. It's very interesting to me.
It is a valid question.
It tells a lot about a person.
Well, here's what's
what
funny.
What does it tell about a person, bro?
I don't know.
Whether you stand or sit when you wipe your ass.
Yeah, or a crumbler and folder. I can see
Definitely
what it tells.
a folder. I'm a standing folder.
Dude, no wonder we're both alcoholics. We're both standing folders. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that.
I'm pretty sure I've caught him mid-stand wipe.
Like
when I walk in the thing, and I'm like, "What are you?" Okay, you're really actually shatting. Okay, fine.
I just stand there.
But another throwback is Shane, I guess, was listening to Chemical Diet, Shane's old CD, in the car with Cash the other day. Super great parenting. And Cash loved it. So I asked Cash when I got in the car today, what do you want to listen to, bud? It's just me and Cashy these days. And he's like, Daddy, I want to listen to Daddy. And so Shane said, oh, he wants to listen to Chemical, So I put it on, and the frickin' song Dirty Hole comes on, and I'm like, oh, and that's the one that I want to erase from the CD, just like you guys with your stand-up.
Got a dirty mind, you got a dirty hole.
Yes.
Let's get it on.
God.
Let's get it on.
I'm like,
man, that was a good. That was a good album.
It was a good album.
It was a great
I was
album.
listening back to it.
But what do you call it? The title?
Yeah,
What
title.
should we call it?
Chemical Diet.
Can you just
Dude, it's crazy though, because it's so it was so relevant to the lifestyle, and those it took us about 2 years to record that, and Chris and I went through a lot
and
of
then the picture
alcohol
on the cover is
trials,
what you and Chris went through a lot of, right?
Yeah, really.
The picture on the cover is what.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the cover, you can go to iTunes and check it out on there. It's a big bowl of pills.
Pills
to make it.
Yeah, that was a time in life. Okay. But it is a really good CD. I like it a lot. You guys all have a lot of talent in that.
Bailey loves it. Bailey's got it on her phone. Oh yeah, she has both of them on her phone.
A lot of our friends kids like it a lot.
Bailey listens to the podcast.
Does she?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What up, Bailey?
What's up, Bailey?
Shout
out.
out.
B?
Another episode was the Melissa Walsh. That was back in the day. That was episode 36. Super inspiring. That was really cool. I remember Shane doing that one and then like listening and being like, whoa, this is for real. You know, like this is a for real podcast where like people that really went through some stuff are like sharing their story. So that was kind of a
Pastor Dave was a really good one, for me to be able to sit down with him. And I'm still learning so much in that aspect of my life, like with my faith and, kind of walk with God. And, still seeing him on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever day, we end up going to church or whatever. There's a lot going on there. I'm still trying to figure a lot of that stuff out, but, it's something that I hold really close to. So to sit down with him and have him on the show and be able to share some of his word with other folks out there, that was a really cool one for me. And plus, I got to do that one live too. And so I actually, went to the church and we went in the green room and set up and actually sat face to face and had a great conversation. I think that was episode 80, one of the, I guess a fairly new one or newer, I guess. That's one that stands out to me too.
A good fun one for me was episode 40, how stepping in dog shit brightened my day. It's real quick, 19 minutes. It'll give you a good laugh out of that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Which one is the spoken word? That one is good. If you haven't heard that one, you got to jump back on that one.
Yeah,
spoken word. It was like, I have it in here somewhere. I don't know. That was a really good one. That was a little further up in the episodes, but it was good.
Yeah, what's that? I Am Saved, I think it's called. What?
No, it just says spoken word.
Oh, it is. It's episode 70. That's what it is.
70.
Yeah, episode 70. Yeah, that is a good one. So,
is there any episode, any at all? I don't know if and you're going to be like, no. But is there any episode that you were like, wow, this is happening? Like, yay, podcasting.
Gosh,
were you like, I can't believe he's coming on the show. That's really awesome. Like,
yeah, I mean, talking with Jack Canfield, that's a pretty, that was a good one. Big one. I mean, Jack Canfield's one of the, Jack Canfield's huge. He sold, I don't even know. It's like fucking over 1 million books or something. And
I thought it was 500 million.
You know what?
Yeah,
I was way off. Samsonite. Yeah, thank you, Seth. I knew it was a lot.
It's like 1 million books or something.
I think I said in the episode, I said it was a shitload of books. I mean, it was a lot of books. And that one, and then
shitload.
And then David Ratchford, who just came on the show for episode 99. He hooked me up with Rich Roll, and I got to talk to Rich, and Rich has a huge platform. He's got an amazing story too, and he's doing a lot of great work in the not only the recovery field, but just trying to live a better, healthy, positive lifestyle. So that was a fun one for me. Too, and I think maybe those two stand out, and then of course Larry Hagner, that was a great one too, man. Larry's got ones. I'm so blessed to talk to so many awesome people, and I know I'm missing so many of them. So I my apologies if someone's listening and I'm not talking specifically about that one because there's so many good ones.
Well, then there was West
so
Gear.
Many. Yeah.
Was
dope.
Yeah.
So who's your just looking forward though, do you have a unicorn, Shane? Is there someone that you're like,
good one?
You know what I mean? Like, is there somebody out there? I mean, just like, I'm talking like,
that
big
I wanted
picture,
to have on?
Right? Like big.
Well, that's
Oprah.
Oh,
no.
Fuck yeah, Oprah.
No, that's a great question. And I'm seriously glad that you asked that because yes, there is. And this has not changed since episode 1. And Jess can vouch for me on this. I told her when I first started that my goal in this, if there was one person that I was going to interview, it was going to be James Hetfield from Metallica. And so that is something that
we're going to have to work on that.
Well, I've actually talked to Brian. I can't remember Brian's last name now. I have it in my email, but he's one of the publicists for Anthony Kiedis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Metallica.
Nice.
So I've been in touch with them. It's just a matter of actually,
when they're here,
it's one of those things that's going to be a timing thing, but I know that it'll happen eventually, and I'm really, really looking forward to that that one day.
Awesome.
You did. Yes, I do remember that.
Ooh, I'm glad I asked. I did not know
Yeah, that's
that.
a great question.
I didn't know that.
Great question,
And he's a local guy, man. He's from Marin. I know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I know that he started a meeting out in Marin. I've still yet to go to it, but apparently it's one of, just a really phenomenal men's meeting out. I think it's a men's meeting somewhere in
Do
Marin.
they all look like him? I wonder.
I don't know. That's a good question.
It'd be funny if you walked in and they all look like him.
You're all
So Shane, what has that Sober Guy podcast done for you? Emotionally, I guess. And what has this show brought to you? Because I know that for me, it's brought a lot to me. It's educated. It's brought me some good entertainment. What has it done for you, man?
Yeah, it's so it's definitely allowed me to express myself and be creative in a sober way, because I wasn't able to find that in music when I got sober at first. I just correlated it too much with doing drugs and drinking because I had done that for so long. And so like I felt like that part of me was kind of lost. I wasn't able to pick my guitar up and play like I used to. It just wasn't the same. And so when I started the show, it kind of gave me a sense of that back in a different aspect, but it was something totally new. So there's always been that creative part. And I think that's probably one of the biggest parts for me. And then, right next to that or equally important is just staying sober. And, this show, I can't count, how many times I've had the thought of I should just go get fucked up. And definitely early on in the show, versus now, but the first year, the first year and a half, there were times when I had those thoughts and I thought to myself, no, like I have a responsibility, to stay true, not, to not just the show, but to myself. And so it's really been an accountability tool for me. And then of course, I mean, I've connected with just an awesome amount of people all over the world from this shit. And that's probably really been, it's taught me a lot about relationships, about being a friend, and really genuinely caring about other people and what they're doing and how I can support and how I can help them. I've never had that sense until, I had, went through this change process and cleaned up and started to learn about myself. That's what life's about, is about serving others, our families, our friends, and being there for each other and actually caring, giving a fuck about what other people have to offer in life and what they're doing, not just all about what I'm doing. So, I think those would be a couple of them, man, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. Once the fog begins to clear, man, you actually get to feel and fucking give a fuck about other people's, which is really great. And you know what? One thing that I love about the show, man, that you've been able to do is show that you could use one of your old talents that you used in your addiction, with the music, and you've kind of flipped that on this whole. I mean, fuck, dude, you're kind of like a radio host now. You know what I mean? So. You've kind of turned that talent into something great. And then also, man, showing that you could fucking keep it light and have fun in sobriety. Like, that's the biggest thing, man. And I know you get a lot of emails about people like, fuck, dude, what do I do in sobriety, man? But you go to show that there's good things that you get to do in life, right? Concerts, we get to go to baseball games and fucking enjoy, remember the whole game. You're going on a fucking hike, dude. I don't think you probably would have done that in your addiction, right? So
yeah, actually, so that's a great.
And you wouldn't have got out of the parking lot.
Well, no, I would have been. I would have been bringing booze, in my backpack up there, and then would have gotten.
Yeah, I don't need a sleeping bag.
Hammered and shit.
Okay, you would have, but how many did you go on any backpacking trips when you were in your addiction?
No. I sure thought about it though. I sure thought about it. But
isn't that part of it? Like you think about the person you want to be when you're drinking, that whole thing.
Well, and so to touch on that, back to another great, fun episode that I had was the one where you and I went to the A's game together. I think that was my first game sober, going back, and we had recorded it on the way and we had a good time on that, so those times.
I remember Seth's first game.
getting back to the game, back sober to the game. It's hard, man.
Football. I think it was football.
It was a hard.
It was a football game.
It was a football game, which is even worse because you know how we be getting down at the football games.
The Raiders.
Dude, you know what's such
Raiders. We're Raider fans. So
one thing that was so cool about that trip going to the A's game, dude, is that we got to be of service to someone.
Yeah.
And that was gonna. If you haven't listened to the episode, I would recommend it. But we got to be of service to someone, help him push the truck. And his payback to us was he wanted to buy us a beer, and we both were like, "Oh, nah, man,
I'll take an iced tea and a Diet Coke, thanks."
Or no, we got to say, "Nah, we're good." Like that was kind of I don't know how you took it. It wasn't really. I mean, I guess it was a test.
I forgot about that.
Well, it was. No, it wasn't. And just to reference it, it was episode 39. And it was a cool experience, and we both kind of looked at each other when we got back in the car, and we were like, "Yeah, we just fucking turned down." I mean, when would we have ever done that before?
Yeah, no shit. Turned down a free drink. Yeah.
Oh yeah, not gonna happen. But I wanted to jump back real quick and back up because you talked about this backpacking trip that this is gonna come out on a Friday, obviously when the show comes out. I'm gonna be backpacking when this episode airs this week, so. That's going to be kind of cool. And, just to be up in the sticks and get away. We're going out up in the Sierras, up in Truckee, and I'm so excited to just unplug and try to kind of like I'm going to get spiritual. Yeah. About to get spiritual. I'm going to try to, but we'll see how that goes. But,
just come back with just something happening. Okay. Let's really seriously get spiritual and like, take some time for yourself.
No expectations.
Come back.
Exactly.
Come back with
that's exactly what I'm thinking.
A new face.
New lease on life.
And then I'm wondering too if you're telling them that you're going backpacking because just in case you get eaten by a bear or something, and you're like,
no way,
last
dude.
episode.
I have guns and knives and spears and bear spray.
Spears.
Brass knuckles. I'm packing those till I'll punch that bear in his face.
So, in the wrap up.
Yes.
What's next? What's next for that sober guy radio?
That's a good question. And that's a tough one for me because you're the first one that knows I have all these fucking ideas and all these crazy things I want to do and that I should do and that I can do. And this is how I do it. My mind literally does not stop. And, I guess that's a good thing in a sense. It's in a positive manner, and I'm trying to contribute something positive and good. At the same time, it can kind of be my own worst enemy because it takes me out of the present moment sometimes, and that's kind of hard with the family. So something I'm working on. But, I have some goals. I have some plans and stuff. I don't really want to get into the details of them yet. But
top secret.
Yeah, kind of, I just kind of want to keep it to myself and see how it plays out because I don't want to set any expectations, as Seth just reminded me. But at the same time, what I really want to focus on is working through the steps again. I want to put one foot in front of the other. I want to continue to be of service. I want to continue having great guests on the show and do some. I want to get back to doing some monologue episodes. That's one thing that I will say. So I haven't really booked anybody for the next month or so. And I may. I mean, if something comes up, I can always do that. But I think I'm going to get back to the roots a little bit and get on the show and just talk a little bit and have some fun with it. Get that creative side out working again. And I'm just going to do the next right thing, I guess.
I think that's a great answer and a great idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, Shane, I just want to say thank you for creating that sober guy, man. It's been a real joy watching the show grow.
Thanks,
and congratulations on the 100th episode, man. It's been an honor, like being at, I think this is probably the 4th or 5th time that I've come on, and every time, man, it feels the same. Like I'm honored. I'm proud of you, bro. This is a big step, man. Like you just kind of were vulnerable, man, and you just threw yourself out there. And I think that it's turned into a huge success, and I can't wait to see what that secret brings out. So keep up the good work for sure, man.
Thanks, man. You're a huge part of that, bro. Like that was an instrumental part in knowing that I could lean on you because you'd already you did the hard part, bro. You went on this shit completely on your own. You know what I mean? I had you to look to and say, well, fuck, man, if Seth could do it, I could do it too. And so, I had that sense inside of me that, it gave me a little bit of security, a little bit of confidence to know that I could do it, and that I had, my buddy to look to. So, man, I love you, man. Thank you.
I love you too, man. It's just it's so amazing, man, that God put us
in the fifth grade with mullets together.
In the fifth grade,
with mullets.
With mullets and
prank calls,
and at the Burrito Palace, fucking Budweiser, drinking sharps, and here we are, bro. I would never
who would have
imagine. I'd have never thought, but I'm so happy for the life that I have today, and I'm so happy to see you grow. I mean, to see my sobriety go. I have a beautiful wife, beautiful stepdaughter, beautiful home that I could have never imagined. So it's a testament to
we're
putting in the work.
6 years.
Yeah, and we're
nice.
almost there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining, in the show on the 100th episode. It really means a lot to me. It's an amazing thing. I still can't believe it sometimes, but hey, we'll just keep doing it. Keep doing what we do and loving each other and building good friendships and all that good stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, no.
Anything, Jess, Mel, anyone? No? Good to go? Are we good?
I think you're awesome.
All right.
What you're doing is great. I'm excited. I get excited every day. I'm excited and I'm so proud of you. I talk about you all the time.
She's lying.
And so one, she's. I was thinking about something else, and I heard that out of my peripheral hearing. So I gotta say one more thing though. All of this is not possible without the community around that's been built, that's grown around. Everybody who listens to the show, everyone who's part of the private Facebook group. Everybody who's just reached out and continues to reach out and help others out there. It's just a big spider web full of good people. And it's just really an honor to have everybody involved in it. Because it's not just about, us and the show, and there's just so much more to it.
Yeah.
And I hope it continues to grow. And I hope, we as a group, as part of this community, continue to, as we said in the beginning, help end the stigma of alcoholism, of addiction, and know that there's help out there. So thanks for listening, everyone. Peace, love, respect. And we'll end it in the classic, keep the blood